Hello. We are going to continue with studying biology, our journey through the human body, our journey to discover ourselves and to self-discovery, the discovery of illnesses and the resources, of course, that our body has inside of us to evolve and change what is presented to us as an illness or a difficulty. So the lesson, the theme of the day, is bioshock, which we're also going to call bioconflict. So a bioconflict is a specific moment, an event, a very specific event, when we fall ill. In fact, all illness, all disease, any problem, whatever it may be, begins in one instant. It's like an entrance door. If I want to enter a home, there's an entrance door. So I'm either on the outside or I'm on the inside. And I can stay in the inside for a very long time. So the house of illness is actually the same. There's a first instance which we're going to study. We're going to study the biology of it with all its therapeutic consequences that we're going to have at our disposal afterwards. So a bioshock or a biological conflict is something that is normal, that is simple, that is an everyday event. We get back from vacation, for example, we've been at the beach, very, very strong sun, so we sunbathe, and our body has a biological conflict. Our skin gets burnt. We get sunburnt. And we go into the water, and there's another biological conflict. It's another stress, it's another aggression. And the body responds to all these bioconflicts by either sweating or by tanning, or if it's cold, by trembling, so that the heat can be produced. When we're hungry and we have no food, there's a biological conflict and the body goes to repair this situation. There's this tripolarity here, this triad, if you will, which represents the body. First of all, the body. Second of all, the brain. And third of all, the psyche. So the subconscious, the emotional subconscious. Every second there's a back and forth between the first two realities, between the body and the brain, between the brain and the body. Scientists know this very well. They call it biofeedback. With the purpose of biofeedback is to maintain homeostasis, and this means the perfect balance in the human body. Everything is okay, everything is in balance. Therefore, we think about things, we walk, we're active, and our cells need fuel. And that fuel is called glycogen. It's the sugar of the body, and our cells consume this fuel, and our brain knows this. So there are laboratories, and there are people there who are constantly testing the sensors that are informed. Well, I've taken the example of the sugar, but they're informed of all the dosage, quantities of carbonic gas and all the elements, the oxygen. The brain knows everything. It's the control tower. It's the big decider. And it is informed by the neurovegetative system, by everything that is happening all over the body. And the objective is to verify, to modify, to change anything that is necessary. And here I take the example of sugar. We consume sugar, and we start having a deficit in our blood of this sugar. So the glycemic index lowers, the brain receives that information and reestablishes everything. And what does that mean? It means it's going to stimulate the liver so that the liver, which is the organ that, among other things, stores sugar, so that the sugar can liberate that sugar into the bloodstream, and the glycemic level in the blood gets to a normal level, and then the cells can continue working for an hour or two. And this is the first biological phase. But then, at a certain moment in the second phase, the liver starts not having enough reserves of that sugar, doesn't have enough glycogen to release into the bloodstream. So there's no internal solution. So we go seek an external solution, and that information reaches our subconscious. So there's a threshold that has been crossed. I'm hungry. It's a biological feeling, a sensation. I'm thirsty if there's no water, or I'm hot if it's too hot outside, if the temperature is changed. So the sensation, the change is information with regards to my biology, the balance or the non-balance. So we're in balance if the sensation is nice, I feel rested, for example, or unpleasant if the biological function has not been satisfied. Therefore, the sensation is a language between me and me, between my cells and my consciousness. And this, thanks to the neurovegetative and nervous systems, is how it happens. So therefore, my consciousness can resolve this by going to eat, going to the refrigerator or going to a restaurant or to a grocery store. And that's how I can provide this food, these nutrients to my body, so that my body can get back into balance, into homeostasis. So the third phase, there's nothing on the outside. The stores are closed. I have nothing to eat. And really there's a famine outside. It's the war, it's unemployment. That's the bioshock. That's the bioconflict. So this conflict that doesn't allow for a solution to take place. At that moment, if there's no solution from the outside, a conscious outside solution, a voluntary solution like going to cook something, then there's this third possibility, this third option, which is the appearance of the symptom of the illness, which is something supplementary for the survival and the adaptation. So the liver is going to create an additional nodule to be able to store more glycogen so that in the future I have enough reserves. So I will have more space in my own fridge, and that's how I will be able to survive. Or, for example, if I'm cold and I can't warm myself up, I can't change locations and get close to a chimney, for example, so it won't be the liver, it'll be the muscles that will start shaking and trembling to release some heat. If we're afraid to die, I will maybe get lung cancer. So bioshock, the bioconflict, follows the biological sense to provoke these reactions. And the first thing that happens is I'm hungry, so I eat. I'm cold, I tremble. These are sensations, and we're talking about a language between me and me. I receive information to correct it. If I can't do it, then there will be an amplifier. And this will become the emotion. This sensation, only I have it. I'm the one who's hungry. Nobody on the outside knows this, feels this, guesses that this is happening. If I can't satisfy this sensation, I'm going to tell the outside world through my face or my behavior. So I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling rage, I'm afraid, I'm feeling devalued. So I have emotions. And the other person who's seeing what's happening in my face can know if I am feeling rage, or if I'm sad, or if I'm hungry. And maybe that person is going to be able to help me resolve this problem, these difficulties. So it's indispensable when I'm a baby and I don't know how to talk, and I have no capacity of expressing my thoughts, or to heat my own food, or to cover my body if I'm cold. So the emotion that I transmit, mommy feels it, or any other person, and thanks to that, my body, my mommy is going to be able to rectify what is happening. She's going to be able to feed me, she's going to give me water, she's going to change my diaper, or rub something on my gums because they hurt. So our emotions is a language between me and the other person. And this biological conflict, this trauma, is a way of communicating with the other person. My emotion, my unsatisfied need, because the emotion is the conscious footprint of a non-satisfied need. And mom is going to satisfy that need of heat, of food, or anything else. But if there's no solution, if nobody's listening, and nobody can satisfy my needs, then illness appears. That's the symptom, which is what I already explained, which is the way that the body has to adapt to the exterior circumstances. So what is a symptom if it's not the amplified function or reduced function? For example, at this moment, we use our breathing capacity to a very small percentage, maybe 15% of our breathing capacity. If we're sitting down, we're not using, and if we're completely immobile, maybe we're using 5% of our muscular capacity. If we have 3 kids, we've used 3 sperms and 3 eggs if we're a woman, while 1 million of other sperms have had no use. So what is the use of all this extra lung, of extra muscles, if we use so little of it? Well, this is useful for emergency situations. If there's a bioconflict, if there's a stressful situation, I woke up late, I'm going to miss my bus, I'm going to miss my plane, then I'm going to have to run. I'm going to have to use 100% of my muscles, 100% of my breathing capacity. And thanks to that, I'm going to resolve the situation, and I can get to wherever I need to get. I'm here, I'm sitting in the airplane, I have no more problems. And here, I go back to using 5% of my muscles. An illness, like a lung cancer, for example, we won't be using 100% of our lung capacity, but 120%. Or with a cystitis, it's a supplementary activity of the bladder, of the muscles, or the tumor of a liver. It's an excess of the organ of the liver, of the tissue. So there's a bioconflict, and that bioconflict has a number of characteristics.